You could just browse through a little, it'll sink in better
Yeah, I'm gonna change the
than
title.
playing the recording again after a big gap.
Mm-hmm.
Monica, you should put together a questionnaire, and then in the next session, ask the questionnaire question and see how we do.
I said that, but nobody approved the idea.
It's a great idea. It's a good way to learn, actually. Whenever you learn
When
something,
it
you should always test yourself.
when it
Be
comes
Thanks,
to the
tested.
Simon.
status
Thanks.
Right,
I'm not.
section,
Stephanie. That's what I'm
I'm
here
not.
for.
I'm not a good test taker. So, isn't that everyone's excuse in school? I'm not a good test
Yeah.
taker.
when it comes to the status section, there'll be tests that can be
Good.
changed from this to this. Why?
I gotta study.
Right.
Okay, so
So I
we're
think
done
what's
with
the
the package.
package? No,
No,
didn't we do
we
design bundle?
yes, we did only design
Mm-hmm.
one.
So do I need to give myself full access again? Let me do it.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, package, created that. Maybe we can start recording.
I did.
Okay, good.
So package is a kind of a bundling for contract management to do their work, and they do construction work. So when we did design bundle, that was to do with the way architecture and engineering department works, does their task. They bundle, they club couple of LLWs together, or sometimes it could be one or many. On the same lines, the construction management, when they do the construction work, they club some lowest level of work, LLWs, together to do the task. Now this comes in two forms. One is when a design bundle, the way A&E packaged it together, saying that they'll design, they'll scope and design these two LLWs or these few LLWs together. Sometimes the same combination gets carried forward to a package or the construction work. So that time, like in package, we have two options. One is create from design bundle and one is create from LLW. That's where this comes into place. So when they are taking over or they are going to work on the same set of LLWs as the any department worked, they usually create the package from design bundle because it's just as is that combination or that bundle is getting used to do the construction work. And if not, and then what happens is the package number is there's a rule behind the scenes that the package number in this case is same as the design bundle number. So that's why sometimes you see package numbers which are D0, which look or sound the same like the design bundle. Or on the main page, when you see the LLW, it has a design bundle against it and a package, and both of the numbers are same. So that's where this concept comes in play, where the same design bundle number becomes the package number, but they're two individually stored attributes. So package number in the table has the same D number and design bundle has the same. Most of the other teams sometimes get confused, like VAS the other day. They didn't even have a package, but because this is not clear, they thought that's the package number. Because at one point when the package existed, it existed with the same number based on this concept. So this is one thing which is important to understand. And otherwise, if it's created from LLW, you could pick LLWs which belong to different design bundle. And in this case, the number generated is a P number. So sometimes you see packages with P numbers. That's where they originate from because they were created using individual LLWs. So if design bundle D1 has two LLWs, L1, L2, design bundle 2 has another three LLWs, L1, L3, L4, L5. We could create a package using L1 from the D1 and L4 and 5 from D2 together, and we'll get a P number. And the number, it's sequentially generated number. The sequence is stored and next available number is assigned on its own. So that's to do that, we use these two options, create from LLW and create from design bundle. When we create the package, the bare minimum information that is required is package description and the roles associated when it's package or construction work is done. The people assigned in different roles or designations are PO, SPO, and CPO. So that those are over here. And what else is there? Status. There's eligible status for packaging, which is RFC inbox, I think, is for different package can be created for different management types. Means more than one. One is normal CIP. For that, I think the status, eligible status when you can package a project is same RFC inbox. When the project is in that status, only those LLWs or those design models would get listed in the selection drop down. And then there is, I don't know if there's more than, there's another one also. Capacity also gets packaged, capacity projects. So it's based on management template, the status which is eligible to create a package. And the roles of PO, SPO, and CPO. This is another, like lately when you're doing updates, this is important, are at two levels. Ideally at package level, but before that at LLW level also we have these attributes. So sometimes they, as soon as the lowest level of work is identified or created, comes into PTS, they know about it and they could enter it at LLW level. That goes in our LLW table for them because there's no package. But ideally, it's more significant or relevant at the package level. So when they come and they package, say they packaged two LLWs, L1 and L2. And L1, they had entered the project officer as Aldo, and L2, they entered it as me. When they come here and they create the package and they put Stephanie's name as the PO, for L1 and L2, both Stephanie's name would get updated. So it syncs it when it comes to package level takes, that's the latest. So it updates LLW level at internally via the trigger. So this is an attribute which is available at two levels. And once it's packaged, that takes over and that controls the value it holds. And what else we have? Okay, when a package is created, the status doesn't change. It remains the same. And then down below, it's the LLW current package composition, which shows the LLW. And even when we created using a design bundle, if you have rights, you could create if you want, means to see it. The down below, it will show you the LLWs within the design bundle. So if you created using design bundle 5, which had 4 LLWs, down below in the grid, the 4 LLWs will show. The package number would be a D number. DOED authorized amount, DOED authorized total, construction, everything comes from the LLW level. The DOED authorized values that are there, they're shown over here. And what else is shown? Just scroll to the right. Anything that we data enter, I'm trying to see.
So in
Okay.
here, quick question. In here, we're going to see all the LWs, even though they're in different design bundles.
Yeah, it means if you've created a P number, which where LLWs are from different design models, yes. If you've created a D number, it'll again show the LLWs that are part of that design bundle for which you used to create. Whatever are the LLWs in the package. How you
Okay.
created it, irrespective of that, it shows you the LLWs that are in the package and attributes associated with it.
Should we
So,
create one? Or should I return one?
if you
So
want to,
let's see if this works. No, it didn't
but
work.
you might come across hindrances. This is what you could try later, but means you can try if it's quick. You can try one.
No, it didn't work. I was just,
Maybe the security because you've given everything, then they clash based on priority.
oh
Sometimes.
yes,
Okay.
that's exact.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Next
That's
is
fine.
RFC. This is done, right? To start with, means this is done. You can create one data and
How's
see.
it where it says create RFC?
Oh,
Actually, create RFC option is available from the package page also. I think there's a button over there. That's good to know also.
Yeah, that's where he just clicked.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's there in the menu option also. So this is, as the name says, RFC request for contract. This is based on a package. I don't have too much insight into this, but basically it's a form which is filled requesting for the contract, which has whatever the question is. This is all legal things that they have to, it has to be filled up and whatever. And then it gets, so this basically you plug in the package number and then you proceed from there, and this whole questionnaire down below is to be answered. And then it gets authorized. Once it's saved, they review it, they authorize it. When they authorize it, it goes into the VAS system through a batch process. I think nightly there's a batch process which moves the RFC information into VAS, but only for authorized RFCs. And then what VAS does, VAS does the bid and award part, right? Oh, Simon here, and maybe you'll have to throw in some information, which there'll be some gaps when I don't know things so much about what they do in VAS. But the bid and award activity, earlier there used to be a system called CMS, which word you'll hear quite often. But I think it's retired now. Everything is coming directly from VAS. But intermediate, it was that VAS, some things were in VAS, some were in CMS, and they were getting fed. Right now also there is a little bit left where the contracts against projects are still coming from CMS. That needs to be migrated. Since it comes from VAS, VAS reads to CMS, and we read it from CMS. So there are these things which we need to migrate. So basically, then the contract related activities happen in VAS, which is solicitation and things like that, and then that updates. I think that okay, the status gets updated via PPM. So those statuses, now the status movement for a little while is not directly from PTS, it's coming from VAS to PPM to PTS. But for us, it's from PPM only, basically. So the statuses bid and award active, bid and award inbox, bid and award active don't really happen directly in PTS, but indirectly the status gets updated as activities take place in other applications, which is VAS. So there's not too much I can tell about this RFC. There's only one authorized RFC per package. So if they have to create another one, they sometimes they unauthorize it and they edit it. Sometimes they ask us to delete it so that they'll create another one. So delete feature is not there. So we have to see if it's really required and fits into the workflow. We might have to introduce it. So that's about for RFC. RFC a little bit, Aldo, you have worked also, so you would know, but it's just
I created this field over here. Yeah.
okay. And what else?
And I think this one as well, or it was already, no, I think this was already there.
Yeah. And that's about for RFC. There's not too much logic behind it.
Okay, are we gonna go to the manage request for contract, or is it the same thing?
Manage request for contract. This is same, right? RFC?
Yes.
That was just, you click the button over there. That was just a convenience they had given there to go directly to RFC. And this is a separate option. And then what is the third option under package menu? There was something else I saw.
It is the screen that we use.
Okay, right.
Okay. Should we go to the next?
Why do we, what is the second one? Manage request for contract? What is create request for contract? Okay.
Created it, yeah.
Okay, like in forms we have, right? The manage one is kind of a search and retrieval of multiple, and then the other one is just a form to create. Next is what? For alerts?
ADA.
ADA, I don't know. Somebody else has to jump in and tell what ADA.
ADA is like accessibility. Simon, do you know what ADA stands for? I know it's
Yes, it's the American
accessibility.
Disability Act.
Okay.
And
so
basically it's for all our schools, right? We've got to make them accessible for, wheelchairs and stuff. So there's things like POT, path of travel, which essentially means to get from the street into the school.
Yeah, so although if you click that review type, this is on the drop down. This is where they like request accessibility Right here. You're on the same screen where it says ADA review type under the title.
Oh, yes. Well, nothing comes down, so.
Oh, you have to enter a design number. So I guess just enter, yeah, anything. Yep. So if you click the drop down, you see POT, what Simon was talking about. Those are the different types of reviews that they can have for ADA. So basically on this screen, they'll come in, they'll request a review type. I don't know who they are. So if you just click one, and then they fill in like the fields on the bottom. I'm not really familiar with this either. Pasha kind of handled this all on his own for the most part.
Yeah, this one, this field, you're saying?
Yeah, so they enter like a documents received, like they just fill in all of those fields and then they submit, and then the reviewer actually completes a review.
Okay.
Who's the reviewer? Where are they defined?
The review is defined by, give me 1 second, there should, oh, where it says ADA reviewer. Right there, go in the section where it says ADA review, and then there's a drop down that says ADA reviewer right under.
But where do we define the ADA reviewers? List of ADA reviewers in designation?
This one.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a designation, I'm not sure. So once they submit that request for review, it'll go into the ADA reviewer dashboard and the ADA reviewer will complete a review. And then they have like reports for it, and then you'll see the dashboard there.
Is there any status it's where it's done, when it's done? Because looks like any activity, right? Design model level.
I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not really familiar with the screen.
Mhm.
Not sure.
But there must be some documentation because I remember you and Pasha were involved in it.
I jumped in towards the end when the screen was already created, when he was doing enhancements. There are user stories for it that he created.
Okay, probably this looked like a big chunk, a menu option it is in PTS. I assume there would be a document which would state the whole
Maybe on
work.
Teams, let me check.
I think so.
Yeah, he worked closely with Michael Lee to do this. Hold on, let me check. And then he kind of looped me in as he was transitioning out. Give me 1 second. We have a ADA implementation document and a technical document.
Hmm.
That's all we have.
Okay. And what are the
I'll
other
see if
issues?
I'll see if I could find more documentation for this.
Yeah, there was more documentation, right?
I don't know where he put it.
Yeah.
We have a whole bunch of user stories also for it that he created.
But user stories won't tell us who doesn't know of, the whatever it involves. But let's see what are the other menu options within it?
The dashboard and the reports.
Okay. So there's not much workflow.
No.
But still it
It's
must be
literally
eligible
just
at a
like,
certain point, and when it gets locked up, or is it open-ended till end of project? What is it? Okay, we'll see. It doesn't seem to
go
be
to the
so clear.
dashboard, Aldo.
What are you saying, sorry?
The dashboard. So we have a charter here. We have a workflow.
Oh, the ADA dashboard?
Yeah.
This one? Oh, nice.
So the reviewer selected will have their own dashboard, and then they'll see like what's open, what's completed, etc.
Based on the status. So the ADA statuses are that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gano was on this.
So
with
on the
him.
on the first tab, they'll be creating a new request for ADA, and then the reviewer will be only having access to the dashboard, and they'll be accepting that or rejecting that request.
Correct. And they'll complete their review.
Okay.
And then the reports. Let me see.
Reports is fine, but they just outputs.
Yeah, they just
Oh,
run.
These are the reports that they were not working a few sprints ago.
Correct. And then that's also the report in the next sprint that he said that something was on the dashboard for review complete, but when they went to the report, it wasn't showing up in the report. So it's the screen with these reports.
I don't know what these reports, I mean, I don't know the inner queries of these reports. And I'm not able to look at them. Do you know who has access to, I mean, who's the owner of the code of these reports?
It's
No, but why?
Pasha.
Yeah, but why you cannot find it? Why?
Yeah, we built that, Elder.
Yeah. So all of the documentation was done by Agano. It's in a folder
Okay.
on Teams, and then yeah, Pasha was the one that wrote the code.
The queries you should be able to find that, maybe just embedded somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, what is next? Forms, our favorite, and
Alerts. No, it is
alerts.
alerts.
Okay. Alerts is basically, again, overview only I'll give, but when VAS does the bid and award, and this comes into play when there's a cancellation of solicitation in VAS. So there's when a project is going through, they create a solicitation, and for some reason they want to cancel it. They cancel it in VAS, and this is one area where the status is updated by VAS in PTS. So what happens is there's a certain status bid and award inbox and bid and award execution when a solicitation can be cancelled. That is, solicitation is related to a contract. So when they're canceling the contract in a way, they cancel the solicitation, they get a drop down which asks for the reason of cancellation. And there's certain reasons, 4 or 5 defined commonly for which the solicitation gets cancelled, and which depending on what the user picks up when they cancel the solicitation, the resulting status in PTS is updated. Means there's a mapping of the reason for cancellation of solicitation to the resulting status once that reason is picked. So based on that, the PTS gets updated and it gets that status when the solicitation is cancelled. And then comes this phase alert, where for whatever reason it gets cancelled. There's a whole workflow involved here, which is just defined in tables, saying that if it comes as cancellation of solicitation with this reason and this, over here it's reviewed by, say, it'll be capital planning has to review it. So the project, for whatever reasons for it got cancelled. So then there's a drop down called, what is it drop down called? There's a drop down below, right? No, we don't
This
see.
one, select the recommendation.
Yeah,
This
so
one?
they give recommendations. So they select the recommendations which are predefined again in some table, and they get the drop down gets populated and they pick, and then based on that it goes to another. So means it's a little bit of a workflow here. It's not that I took example of capital planning. Went to capital planning, they recommended something and that was the end. Then it could go to A&E next and they do something. So there's a whole bunch of stations or departments it goes through sometimes, and then it gets back into the mainstream workflow of the project. So this in between is kind of a mini workflow going on where they just to bring it back to the mainstream workflow. So there's status change involved with this page when they do. It goes from one status to another, a lot of heavy duty emails going out, status changes happening. But it's just intermediate that when there's something to do with contract gets disturbed or cancelled or something, then in between it's reviews happening between the all departments. So that's what it is. So they just plug in they can search based on whatever they want, building, solicitation, LLW design bundle, and it gets saved. The entries get saved, and then they just go from one station to another. That's about it.
Okay.
So once it's out of this, next one is not really connected in sequence. Forms is a next is forms option, which is nothing to do with this, but it's a A&E activity. All the forms are basically that are listed here are used by the A&E department for various purposes, as the name says. Some of them we are familiar with, like master contact, a staff request. So, and GSG, Green School Guide. So there are different forms for whatever work they do, they have to submit forms. So they just provided us the format, they capture the information and then they use it. And so
Okay.
each form is different. So, but the search form basically consolidates all form types and brings you, like if you plug in a design bundle number, there could be a staff request form created for that design bundle. There could be a master contact form. So it'll bring up different kind of forms together based on the project. So ideally, the forms first option, the search, is used for retrieving all the forms for a project. And then individually you could go and create or even filter them. Even in the first search, you could filter them on a project type and a project number. So then you get all forms of a particular type retrieved and you could review them and do whatever you. So again, it's capturing information, no status changes based on creation of forms, and it's used by any department. And what else? Reference data. This is easy. I think everybody knows. Go to reference. Can you move? Yeah. Now the CSI code, I think we've done the link LLW to CSI, but these CSI codes are basically defined here, which is just CSIs. Now anybody will ask, what does it stand for? I don't remember. But basically it's an attribute for an LLW and this is the master list for it. Okay. And this is just simple two values attribute and then it's audit information basically.
Okay.
Next. Designation we all are very familiar to, right? So these here we define the various roles that are associated with the project, which could be at different levels, like we have something to do with ADA also, right? Here we'll have the ADA reviewer, I assume.
No, I don't think it's there.
Where is it defined? Go down. Maybe it's at the end.
What do you mean? Go downward.
ADA reviewer. The screen we were just looking at, we're trying to figure out how it's defined.
Go down in that list.
Yeah, I don't see it there.
Okay.
So this is basically where there's a designations table in the database. So is this where this is a screen that is fitting that table?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, well, some of them are obsolete, like ADMA is related to design model. Just stay on the list of designations, please.
This one?
Okay, this one, yeah. The first one, like it's used by I think in the studio we do it, administrative something, assistant something. ATP are obsolete, like there's some obsolete designations also, which actually we should take out, but for now they're there with the ATP request for the module in PTS. And it has been moved to RCMS. So sometimes if the term comes, for that reason, I'm just briefing that it was in PTS, it has moved to RCMS. So when that was done, we needed this ATP documentation, ATP super user, CAD user, everybody is familiar to. CCFU was again to do with ATP request, so it's obsolete on then CPMD cap and CPMD CIP. This is what Stephanie last time you were asking whether it's to do with capital planning, but this is to do with CES. They have defined they leveraged our designation table to hold these two roles. Basically, they made these groups which are used by CES application. They're not used in PTS at all. So sometimes, this kind of people use little bit of what is defined here. They expand it for their use. So go down a little after CPMD. Aldo.
Yeah.
Okay. And then CPO, everybody is familiar with. Then the discipline manager, which is used in forms. DM, DPM, used by any in design bundle. Then DPO, I don't know what it is. I don't know. DSM, DPO. Maybe they are used in ADA or somewhere new, but I don't.
Design
Anyway.
project officer.
There should be actually in the bracket, there should be designation description also. We have it in the table, so that will give a better clear picture of what DPO and what DSM stands for. Design studio manager. No, studio manager we have separate also. DSM, I don't know. Okay, go down. After that, couple of them are little unknowns. ODC cap, ODC CIP, and again for some, I don't know where they use, but okay. And NDM is again a studio-based non-admin, some staff. PM, PO, SPO, CPO, they are in package level. So basically all over the application where the user roles means have to be identified and used or to define dropdowns related to it, they get defined here. So if a new user designation is getting introduced, we are doing some new functionality and we need to introduce the type, the user designation. There's a user designation type, which is what the dropdown you're looking at. And then there's the people who are part of that type or group. So there are two different tables. One, we can use this to define the people in that role. We can use this page, but if you are introducing a new user designation type, then like say product owner is another new designation type getting introduced. So we'll have to go and add that to the user designation type table in the backend. That doesn't happen so often, so we can live with it to be added from the backend for now. And people over here, adding more people, somebody gets promoted, they are no longer holding that role, especially in PO, SPO, CPO. Then we come and do all those changes here. And then when we do those changes, we get those global update request or bulk update request, which says that this person has, he's been promoted, he retired, whatever. So all his projects go to from A to B. Or like, Anish, when he left, whatever Anish was doing, say was going to Aldo, so bulk update of whatever stories assigned to him, to you, those kind of bulk updates that come, which we will be introducing as feature in the application, time permitting, whenever we get a chance, we'll be introducing so that they can do it quick. We don't have to do the tickets, and it'll be nice to have. So we'll be doing that for most of the roles, but the only constraint we need to know at that point of time is if all projects are to be done or partial or active projects. Ideally, it should be active, but sometimes they get it done either way, all or subset. Okay, and 135. We had it till 1, right? 130?
130. Yeah,
Yeah,
130.
130.
Yeah. So we are done with reference data. What else is there? Let's see quick.
Just reports.
No,
Oh, no.
Studio. No, we're
Studio,
missing a few screens on reference data, and then we
Okay,
can.
so then we pick it up next time.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, Monica.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you, Monica.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Although we have a meeting now again, right?
Yeah, let's go there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.